Good morning. We're going to have a new lesson using the same chapter as we did last week. I will introduce some additional expressions that are not in your textbook, but which are similar to the expressions that are in chapter number 1. Let's look at those expressions. This is week number 2. Last week we saw this expression, I am going to do something. And as I said to you last week, this tells us about future plans that are fairly sure to happen. Plans that you have made, that you tell someone about, that are fairly sure to happen. Now we can make this into a question about the future if we add a few words at the beginning of the sentence. It is not difficult to make this into a question. Here is an example. We can add the words "are you" at the beginning of the sentence, and then we can make a question in the future using going to. For example, are you going to the PC room to study? Are you going to go hiking this weekend? Are you going to the movies tonight? These are now questions that you can ask someone about what their future plans are. Here are some more examples. Are you going to order chicken tonight? Are you going to meet me at 8 p.m.? Are you going to tell me why you're angry? And some more examples. Are you going to buy a pet soon? Are you going to buy a cat or a dog? Are you going to join the dance club with me? In all of these examples, the words "are you" are added at the beginning of the sentence, plus going to form a question about someone else's future plans. Let's look at some more examples. Are you going to play soccer after school? Are you going to the singing room soon? So this is the first kind of expression that I'm going to introduce, which is not in your book. It is a question using "are you" plus going to gain information about someone else's future plans. Let's look at another kind of expression. This is the second example. This also adds some words to the beginning of the sentence. And this asks how you will do something. And those are the words, how are you going to do something? How do you plan to do something? It is a question that you can ask someone to gain information about the way that they are going to do something. Let's look at some examples. How are you going to get there? How are you going to get to Seoul? How are you going to find your phone? In these examples, someone is asking another person about the way that they are going to do something. Maybe the person asking the question doesn't know how the other person is going to do something and they want to find out. So they can say, how are you going to get to Seoul? Are you taking the train? Are you taking the bus? How are you going to get there? For example. Maybe they've lost their phone and they'll ask, well, how are you going to find your phone? You've looked everywhere and you can't find it. How are you going to find it? Okay, let's go to the next examples. How are you going to get home? How are you going to contact me? How are you going to travel to Busan? So let's give you an example. The first one, maybe the person doesn't have a ride. And so the second person says, well, how are you going to get home? You don't have a ride, you don't have a bus, you don't have any money for the bus. How are you going to get home? Or, you don't have my phone number, but you're supposed to call me later. How are you going to contact me? Let me give you my phone number. Okay, let's look at the next examples. How are you going to learn Chinese? How are you going to pay for the bus? How are you going to solve the problem? In these examples, maybe there are different ways to learn the language, and the second person asks the first person, how are you going to learn Chinese? What way are you going to use to learn Chinese? Or, how are you going to pay for the bus? Maybe you don't have any money, so how are you going to pay for the bus? Or perhaps there are different ways to solve a problem. So the second person might ask, how are you going to solve the problem? Are you going to use this way, or are you going to use this way? Which way are you going to use to solve the problem? Let's look. Week number 2, part 2. This is the third and last expression that we're going to look at today. It is similar to the expression I can't wait, or I can't wait for, which is what we saw last week. When we really wanted something to happen, we really wanted something to occur, we use this expression, I can't wait for something to happen. I'm going to introduce a similar expression, but it uses a different word. It uses hardly. But it's similar to the expression, I can't wait. Let's take a look at how this word first is used correctly, because in Korea there is some error, some Konglish using this word incorrectly. When we use the word hardly in English, we place this word before the verb in the sentence. You can see in the example that it's after the verb worked. In Korea, I sometimes hear people say that they have done something hardly. For example, I've worked hardly, or I have studied hardly. They put this word after the verb, and they mean to say that they have a lot of effort to do something. That is what they mean when they say they've worked hardly or they have studied hardly. But to put this word after the verb is incorrect. In English, we put this word before the verb, and it doesn't mean a lot. It means just a little bit. And next slide. In English, the word hardly comes before the verb, and it does not mean a lot. It means only a little of something. Let's look at how this word is used correctly. And as I said, these 2 points are important. It comes before the verb, and it means just a little bit. Here is an example. I hardly worked on this. I hardly worked on this means I worked very little on it. I worked only a little bit on this thing. I didn't work a lot. Here is another example. I hardly slept last night. I hardly slept last night means I slept only a little bit. Not much. We use the word hardly before the verb slept, and it means just a little bit. Let's look at another example. I hardly ate today. I hardly ate today means that I ate very little today. I did not eat a lot. It means only a little bit, and hardly is placed before the verb, not after the verb. So this new expression that is similar to I can't wait uses the word hardly. And it means that you really want something to happen or you really want something to come, but it doesn't use the same words as I can't wait. It uses the word hardly. Here's the expression. I can hardly wait for something, or I can hardly wait to do something. Here's an example. I can hardly wait to see the new Marvel movie. Means you really want to see it soon. It's very similar to saying I can't wait to see the movie. But it uses different words. It uses hardly, and now can't becomes can. Let's look at another example. I can hardly wait for is different from I can't wait. Both have similar meanings, but they use different words. Both have similar meanings, but they use different words. I can hardly wait, or I can't wait. Different words, similar meaning. Okay, let's look at another example. I can hardly wait for summer vacation to come. Means I can't wait for summer vacation. I can hardly wait to visit the new Starbucks soon. Means I can't wait to visit the new Starbucks. I can hardly wait for the next BTS concert. Means I can't wait for the next BTS concert. You really want it to happen soon. But the words are not the same. They are different, and hardly is placed before the verb. I can hardly wait to eat barbecued chicken when I get home. Means you really want that chicken as soon as possible. It's similar to I can't wait for barbecued chicken. Okay, and this will be our last slide. I'm going to stop here. This is, I can hardly wait to go to sleep because I'm so tired. Means I really want to go to sleep. I can't wait to go to sleep. I'm looking forward to going to sleep. So as I said, hardly is used in the sentence differently than I can't wait. It's placed before the verb, but it has a similar meaning. I can hardly wait or I can't wait. They both have similar meanings. Okay, that's the last point that I'm going to make in this lesson. Please go to the attached handout, which is 5 sentences in length. There are 5 sentences and the words to the sentences are included for you. Please use the lesson expressions and the words given to you to make a sentence. There are 5 sentences for you to do. Please then send that handout to me at my email when you are finished. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to send you an email to help you. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye for now.